Good afternoon, Iona College. Welcome to Today with Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Ricker.
And I'm Dave Portman.
And welcome to the show this afternoon. I can't believe it. This is our second to last show on the air I always get confused, third or fourth season. Fourth, okay.
We went through this problem last week where we thought it was three, and then I was like, wait, that makes no sense, because we had been talking about it, and I had been saying it's season 3 when it's really in season 4. So Matt and I have been together for a while, people, and we just kind of lost track.
Yeah.
Season 4, second last episode, it's crazy.
Yeah, it just flew by, but I am looking forward to the summer. I'm sure you are too. The time to cool down, just do what we want, and it'll be good. I'm excited, and I'm also sad though, because it's the last summer before we graduate. Before the real world, rather.
I mean, Matt, though, me and you have already kind of had our foot in the doors of the real world, and trying to get it in more working on campus. You working for the city of New Rochelle, but it's crazy. One more summer, and then we are done.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I just can't get it through my mind. All right, so I have a sort of a busy news afternoon. I have an update on the situation going on in North Korea. A top Navy officer says, quote, he told Fox News today that it's, quote, the worst I've seen, and issued a warning about all this conflict. And the article goes on to say that a senior U.S. Navy officer overseeing military operations in the Pacific region told lawmakers Thursday that the North Korean crisis is the worst he's seen, testifying that it's only a matter of time before Kim Jong-un has the capability of launching a nuclear warhead towards the United States. And he also went on to say that there is some doubt within the intelligence community whether Kim Jong-un has that capability today or whether he will have soon. But I have to assume he has it. The capability is real, and that's what he's moving towards, says this Navy officer. And he testified to the Senate Armed Services Committee a day after all 100 senators were invited to the White House for a North Korean briefing. And he believes that America's future is linked to the Pacific, even noting a possible migration of Islamic State militants back to the region as U.S. forces push to regain former ISIS territory in the Middle East. Just to add to that, U.S. troops are trying to gain ground in Mosul and in Syria. I heard about 40 troops were dropped into Syria to try to get that situation under control. A few weeks ago, Bashar al-Assad, the president of that dictator rather, has been accused of dropping chemical weapons and using them against his own people, and the U.S. is trying to take charge of that situation. Whether that's a good decision or not to try to get involved in another country's affairs, I don't know, since we're so involved in Iraq and in Afghanistan.
Has that worked so well in the past? Really? Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Matt, it's funny that you say that, because at the end of the day, is it the greatest thing? I mean, me and you can sit here and debate for years about if it's the greatest thing to get involved in other countries, but at the end of the day, we're still going to do it because we love to get involved in everyone else's business.
And, anyone who's listening, and including yourself, anyone has to agree that Trump has probably been the most aggressive president when it comes...
100 days? Yes. Actually, funny enough you talk about that. I'm going to segue, if you don't mind, to his approval through the first...
I was going to touch on that, but yeah, go ahead.
Because CNN released it earlier today, a few hours ago, about his approval. He has the lowest approval rating through his first 100 days.
Yeah.
Since this started 100 years ago. And I mean, he's at 44% approval rating, 11 points lower than the previous low, which was set by Bill Clinton, and at 55% through his first 100 days. It's not great, obviously, that he's at 44%, but I mean, there is some things that people, he's over 50% when it comes to like the use of military, which
Yeah.
goes off what you're saying about their him being most aggressive, definitely with the military. And 54% say that he's using it correctly. But people have issues with the healthcare and the immigration, because 6 out of 10 disapprove what he says, with the way he's handling that. But I will say the nicest thing is 54% of people say the country's going well, which is higher than it was in February when it was at 46%. So that I guess is a better look at it. That obviously you want people to say the country's going well. So.
Yeah, I mean, also, it's probably been a turbulent first 100 days. You had back in February, I think it was the firing of the National Security Director, Mike Flynn, currently under investigation to his business ties to Russia and whether that there were conflicts of interest there. I say he should just go before the Senate Intelligence Committee and tell the truth, and even though that may not be the most smart legal option, but it's time to get to the bottom of this. There's so much speculation out there, but yeah, we'll see. But also, when you think about it, there's also been lots of other things that have contributed probably to a rocky 100 days. You had the situation in Syria that, not his fault, but, just it adds to his performance, more stress, how he chooses to respond. He's definitely on the watchful eye of the media and everyone else. In fact, the other day, there was a newly released poll done by CBS, no, not CBS, ABC News, that if Trump and Clinton were going to debate were to have the election to this date again, Trump would still win. I mean, what do you think of that?
I mean, that's interesting. I wouldn't have think that, but I mean, Matt, you're not wrong with what you said about the media is definitely on him, and Trump being the man he is. Trump loves to tweet and tweet and tweet. Which the guy's dang Twitter away, please. Somebody take it.
Or someone at least
monitor it.
Yeah.
Instead of him, because let's be real. It's funny, we talk about this in class about in one of my marketing courses about how a lot of celebrities will have someone monitoring their tweets, and like they may spend like an hour or 2 hours a day actually responding to people, but usually the responses are done by someone who's monitoring it. But we all know for a fact Donald J. Trump, whenever you see a tweet from Donald J. Trump's verified Twitter, that's coming from him and only him, and it's not coming from anybody else. Which, I mean, I'm sorry, if you're a president, I think you should definitely have someone control that for you, and maybe kind of think of better ways of saying what you want to say, because you should be looking at the country instead of on Twitter at hours saying fake news and other kind of
that's
comments.
And also, we'll have to see how the next 100 days go. I'm sure, because there's been a lot of pressure, because the media always puts pressure about the first 100 days, like it's always so talked about, and how many things he could accomplish. He's trying to get the tax code straightened out. In fact, on Friday, Saturday at 12:01 a.m., the government is set to shut down if Congress can't reach a deal. So we have to.
Fun.
Yeah, and so they gotta work out a budget, and also it's not easy because Trump wants this border wall funded and wants it included in the package, the financial package, and some members of Congress don't support that, but Trump, I heard from a source that he is willing to compromise, maybe include the bill for the wall in a separate bill. Also, the failure of his health care plan in Congress, it died. So that obviously didn't look good for his first attempt at pushing legislation. But got time. It's I know.
It will change. Listen, in with the healthcare.
Yeah.
That may not have worked that version, but they will amend it. They will fix it, and it will be changed somewhat.
Yeah.
You mentioned healthcare. I'm going to mention his tax cuts. People were up in arms over it, because he was making large tax cuts to the rich people. Oh, you can't do that, and to businesses. And I can say now, from my point of view, being that I would like to own a business in the future, and that my family is affected from that because my father owns his own company. That the middle class, the business class, have been getting killed so bad from all these different taxes that his proposed tax plan would obviously help kind of the middle class, because there really isn't a middle class. You can make that argument, a very strong argument. The middle class has really kind of disappeared, and it's either you're the rich and you have the poor, and this middle class is just getting hammered from everything Congress is doing, and it's the people in Congress don't realize that. I'm here for the middle class, really, because everyone in Congress is rich. Everyone in Congress is a multi-millionaire, so they don't understand what the middle class is. They don't know. They don't help. They just kill poor, small businesses. So I mean, this. What Trump proposed, is not so bad for if you have a family member that owns their own business, owns small business. You realize that is definitely something that they would hope for, because they need tax breaks. These small companies can't survive if you continue to hammer them with these outrageous taxes. But that's what I got.
So it's hopefully they're able to work out a deal. I'm sure they will.
It'll work out in the end.
But
I have faith in them.
Yeah. Also, I always like to say on a final note, for healthcare, why can't we have the same healthcare as Congress gets?
Man, that is the best question in the world, because think about the end of the day. It didn't matter what did not matter what Obamacare, everyone that had to get Obamacare, but Congress did not.
They were out. They didn't have to, have Obamacare. So it was like, oh wait, so you're telling me I have to take this? You're gonna charge me for not taking this health care, but you don't have to, and you're not charged. So, it's funny, I don't know. Personally, why can't we all get Congress? If we all get Congress health care, then we would all be in phenomenal shape. But sadly, that will never happen.
They'll always be above us, and they'll get the best.
The best everything. They'll work 2 hours a day and make $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
But
all right, so that wraps up our news segment. When we come back, Dave will have some sports. And as always, comment on our Facebook Live any topics or questions or comments that you want us to read, and we'll read them on air. We're trying to, change it up a bit and make it more audience-oriented.
And make it more, to us and you more interactive, more, live, like a live radio station. So, again, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. There's some sports, national stuff to talk about, some big events happening this weekend. We'll be right back.
All right.